Hi everyone. This week, Michelle and I are facilitating discussions on technology in special education. This is a great topic to explore and be aware of, given that we are in a very technology-rich world. I really appreciated this quote, so I thought I'll put it in here. For most of us, technology makes things easier. For a person with disability, it makes things possible. Whether technology was first invented to help people with disabilities or not, it is certainly helping them to do things that were considered impossible. At the end of this unit, you will know the difference between instructional and assistive technology, understand the barriers of implementing accessible technology in classrooms for students with exceptionalities, understand the policies behind special education technology, learn the importance of universal design for instruction, and the future of accessible technology for children with exceptionalities. Let's see special education technology in two lenses. The instructional technology is the technology that you use for your instructions, what the teachers use in their regular day-to-day instructions, and it needs to be designed to meet the needs of a diverse user base with and without disabilities. And this differs from assistive technology, which is a product or device used by a single individual. We need to remember that in order to enhance inclusive practices in schools, educators should consider both instructional and assistive technology for students with exceptionalities. Most often, technology in special education is limited to provision of assistive technology for students with disabilities. Teachers just say, oh, he has a device and he should be okay and good to go. But if he doesn't have the device accessing the instructions, then the point of the assistive technology is not served. Let me give you an example. If a website is not accessible by a screen reader, which is an assistive technology used by people who are blind, then the purpose of the screen reader is not served. So when you think of technology in special education, we'll have to consider both the lenses, the instructional and the assistive piece. There are several barriers in making technology work for students with exceptionalities. To name a few, teachers often do not have experience with access issues and are not familiar with accessibility laws. Teachers struggle to modify their curriculum in order to make it accessible for a minority of students with disabilities. Lack of funds for training teachers in implementation of technology that is accessible by all students. Lack of communication between educators and technology developers and support personnel. And teachers may be against the use of technology in their classrooms, and they do not see the value of technology that benefits a very small number of students with disabilities. They may have limited ability or limited time for training to integrate technology into existing working classroom practices. The ever-changing nature of technology used in special education is, according to me, the biggest barrier. Technology just keeps changing, so you use a tool or a software today and it becomes redundant in a few months. The explosion of technology options available to learners with and without special needs, this can confuse and overwhelm professionals who want to know how best to proceed when they serve children with disabilities. Educators in the field of special education should be aware of laws related to special education technology. Especially in this age of litigation, the ADA, American Disabilities Act Title III website accessibility lawsuits are on the rise as businesses fail to comply by laws and providing websites that are accessible for people with disabilities. So I thought I'll just put in all these accessibility laws that are related to implementing technology in classrooms. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act 2004, all students on an IEP should be guaranteed tools and assistive technology if such tools and technology provide them equitable access to content curricula. This is where we need to understand that just by giving the assistive technology device and not providing access to content curricula is against the law again. The other one is the National Education Technology Plan, encompassed in this law, ensures equity of access to learning experience enabled by technology for all students. This is ESSA, is Every Student Succeeds Act. And then the Section 508 of the Rehabilitation Act that was most recently passed in 2017. This law requires all federal agencies, including K-12 schools, to make their electronic and information technology accessible to people with disabilities. They have standards in this section, which was updated and reorganized in 2017 in response to market trends and innovations in technology. And just like how they revised in 2017, the National Education Technology Plan is also going to be revised every single year just to catch up with the market trends in technology. This is very important when teachers are designing the content in their curricula they will be teaching, which is the universal design for instruction and for learning. UDI is key to technology, especially for accessibility, because technology for accessibility cannot be an afterthought or fixed on a case-by-case basis. Accessibility in technology should be integrated and part of the original design. So the teachers should be proactive in making their content accessible, irrespective of whether they have students with disabilities or not. This way they are prepared if they are having students with disabilities accessing their content, and it might serve useful for other people who are not necessarily identified as someone with disability. In one of the articles you will read about for this week, you will read a lot about the benefits of UDI and how easy it is when you do it beforehand than do it later. Several mainstream technologies that is being used in schools have accessibility built in by utilizing the principles of UDI. For example, Google Chrome, the Chromebooks, the Microsoft, and all of those have already accessibility built in their devices. However, when teachers integrate technology in their curricula, they are not competent. So they're not aware in ensuring that their instruction is accessible in formats that provide identical or at a minimum equivalent usage for students with different abilities. And that's very true. So teachers are just not aware. And that's where this week we are going to think about little on those lines. Some questions to ponder. Do you see technology changing inclusive practices for the better or for worse? For me, I definitely see technology enhancing inclusive practices. Some examples I use on a day-to-day basis with my students is readability in Google Chrome. That makes websites so much more readable. Speech to text for students who are physically disabled in their fine motor skills. VoiceOver for reading content from text in Macs, MacBooks, and the list goes on. So I use a lot of technology when I help my students with visual impairments, and it really enhances them being part of the classroom, understanding content just when their peers are also understanding the content at the same time. In technology, what is considered new today will not be considered the same in few days or months, as we talked about earlier. How can educators catch up with the ever-changing technology and accessibility issues? Although educator training is the next logical step for overcoming barriers in relation to technology accessibility, do you think that can be achieved, and is it feasible? Can teachers take it all in just by training teachers? Do you think it's going to happen, or do you think what changes need to be done at a systemic level to overcome barriers in special education technology? Um, my my thinking is, while lobbying and policy are being implemented for the lack of funds for teacher training and implementation of technology, is to have a link between technology companies and kind of a liaison between technology companies and schools. So schools know what is happening with the technology they're using in their classrooms, and they have a single consultant working. I think that would be a next logical step, but do you think of other ideas and changes that can be done at a overall systemic level? So Michelle's video lecture will take over from here, from this point, and she will also explain to everyone on what to do this week. I had so much fun learning this unit in order to facilitate. Hope you will enjoy too. Have a great week. Thank you.